everyone. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you being here. We are just going to give it another minute or so just in case people are coming from a previous presentation. This is a great chance to go grab that last minute cup of water, that pen or pencil that you might need to write down any notes. We will get started at exactly 12:02. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today to this new kind of campus tour. I'm Ashlyn, and I'm going to be facilitating this session today. Today, we will be showing you around parts of Ryerson's campus specific to the Faculty of Communication and Design. To begin, I'd like to give us some housekeeping tips in case you are unfamiliar with Zoom. To ask a question, you actually only have to hover your mouse at the bottom of your Zoom window until you see the Q&A button. Once you click that, a window will open up and you will be able to submit your question. We have lots of people on the back end ready to answer all of your questions, so do not fret, ask away. If you are experiencing any issues with your video or audio, please submit that through the Q&A box like we just discussed, and a staff member will be able to help you troubleshoot that problem. You can arrange your Zoom window any which way you'd like. It's not going to affect the way we see it on our end or the way other viewers are watching this, so please feel free to move it around to your own convenience. A recording of this session will be made available on our website in October. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about what Ryerson is doing in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ryerson is working on an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, we will be walking you through this virtual campus tour while sharing important information and answering your questions. If you have any questions about COVID-19 and Ryerson, please visit the website at the bottom. Please visit our website and you'll be able to have all of those questions answered or ask us through the Q&A function, and we'll be able to assist you. Information and example used in this tour do not reflect some current activities, for example, like international exchanges. Ryerson is working diligently to provide students with experiences that are effective and while maintaining the health and safety of our students, staff, and our Ryerson community members and their partners. To begin, even though we are not currently on Ryerson's campus, it is important to acknowledge the land on which Ryerson stands within the city of Toronto. So to do that, I am going to read the land acknowledgement. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I'm going to invite my colleague Brianna to help lead this tour. I do want to let us know about the upcoming virtual open house, but we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this tour. Brianna, are you there? How are you?
Hi, Ashlyn. Hi, everybody. I'm doing really well. As Ashlyn mentioned, my name is Brianna. I am a recent graphic communications management grad, and I am a liaison officer here at Ryerson University. So today I will be showing you all around some buildings on the Ryerson campus in relation to our Faculty of Communication and Design. So as you can see on the screen, we start off here at Yonge and Dundas Square. Toronto has been ranked one of the most multicultural cities in the world by the BBC. On our campus, we have 146 countries represented and 80 languages spoken. Yonge and Dundas Square is a space for community celebrations, festivals, promotions, and concerts. For example, we hold Desi Fest, which is one of the biggest platforms for South Asian youth culture. There's also the Pan-American Food and Music Festival, as well as Francofete, which celebrates Franco-Canadian culture. And then there's also the Indigenous History Month, which happens every year in June. Since Ryerson is located in the heart of Toronto, where students gain inspiration from their surroundings, we allow our students to affect change, both in the city that they live in, as well as learn from the city like a living classroom. So our journalism students can work for City TV, which is located just behind the stage there. We also have students who intern at CBC, or they can walk outside the classroom and cover the latest events happening. Our photography students can use the city as their landscape and practice different techniques with photography and photojournalism. We also have our creative industry students who can see firsthand the new initiatives in advertising if that is a path that they want to take. Fun fact, Cineplex Cinemas at Yonge and Dundas Square rents out movie theater spaces during the day for our Ryerson classes. Yes, those are the comfiest chairs you will ever sit in for a lecture. And yes, I do recommend grabbing popcorn before going to your lecture. So that is all for Yonge and Dundas Square. Next, we are going to head over to the Nelson Mandela Walk. So from where we just were in Yonge and Dundas Square, you're going to go north on Yonge Street, take a right onto Gould, and go past the SLC, and that will take us to the Nelson Mandela Walk. Feel like we should have transition music. While the lovely Sam is working on finding that. Oh, perfect. Here we are. So right now we are in the podium building, which is a central place on campus for student services, academic classrooms and offices, and is connected to the Ryerson Library. We are virtually standing in the Ryerson Service Hub, which allows students to ask different questions about admissions, as well as financial aid and enrollment. We use a sort of kiosk ticketing system to automate our process within the Service Hub. And this allows us to have our students meet with our Service Hub staff faster. Now, I mentioned that we were going to the Nelson Mandela Walk, and that is true. Right outside the windows there on the left is the Nelson Mandela Walkway. It is named, of course, after Nelson Mandela, who has an honorary doctorate degree from Ryerson University, and he gave a commencement speech in the walkway. Seating inside of the Ryerson Service Hub is beautiful and bright. It's colorful. As you can see, there is so much natural sunlight coming in. So you're not stuck in a cramped waiting room while you're waiting to have your questions asked. I highly recommend that you follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at RU Service Hub if you have any admissions questions. I think one of my favorite student stories from the Service Hub is a story by a student named Zoa. So Zoa wanted to talk to somebody regarding her future career. She wanted to go into the medical field. And so she went to the Service Hub to inquire if there were going to be any events on campus. And then the Service Hub advisor told Zoa that there was going to be a U of T rep from the U of T Medical School coming to Ryerson to talk to future students. Unfortunately, Zoa had a midterm at the same time as the event and wasn't able to attend. So the Service Hub ambassador went to the event for Zoa, took very detailed notes, and then emailed Zoa the information. I personally love this story because I think it's so sweet, and it really illustrates how dedicated our Service Hub staff members are to ensuring that you get your questions answered. Some other student services that I would like to plug in this building include the Tri-Mentoring program. They have a peer-to-peer mentorship for all first-year students as well as upper year. It pairs first-year students with upper-year students within the same program or faculty. There's also group membership and group mentorship for traditionally underrepresented groups like women in STEM, mature students, students with disabilities, and more. I engaged in the Tri-Mentoring program during my 4th year of university. I was paired with a Ryerson grad who works in financial services here at the university. And the reason that I became a liaison officer is because my mentor had recommended it to me. So she really was the reason that I got a full-time position almost immediately after graduation. Located in this building as well is our Career and Co-op Center, which is exactly what it sounds like. We offer support for students with resumes, mock interviews, as well as career counseling and group mentor sessions. The last 2 student services that I want to plug within the podium building include our International Student Support, which provides support for international students and can help with things like study permits, offer cultural support, as well as academic intervention and counseling if a student is not performing as well in their studies. And they can also help with work permits and immigration to Canada after studies. We also have the Ryerson Aboriginal Student Services available in this building, which provides academic, cultural, and social support to our Indigenous students. Ryerson is striving to become a leader in Indigenous education, and so we are incorporating more professors and initiatives in our Indigenous community. Next, we are going to move over to the Kerr Hall Quad. One of the things that I love about Ryerson is that there are indoor tunnels from the podium building to Kerr Hall. So if we were moving through this tour in real life and it was the dead of winter, we wouldn't even have to go outside. We could just get to the quad from there. So, as I said, this is the quad, a beautiful green space in the heart of Ryerson campus. It is the largest green space on campus and is going to give you the most traditional university campus feel. It's Wi-Fi connected, making it a great place to do homework or to hang out with friends in between classes. There are always dogs running around the quad, which I love. The quad is also where we host our orientation week activities. So this is where Ryerson student associations and clubs set up their tables to recruit new students. Surrounding the Kerr Hall quad is the building that we call Kerr Hall. This is a multi-purpose building full of academic space. No matter what program you go into at Ryerson, you will most likely have a class in the Kerr Hall. It's known for being a bit of a maze. So once we're back on campus, I highly recommend that you map out your classes that you have in Kerr Hall before you actually need to go to them. Now I want to focus a bit on Kerr Hall North. So Kerr Hall North is going to be home to our School of Performance students, and this is where the Ryerson Theatre is located. The Ryerson Theatre is one of the largest theatres in the city and is rented out annually by the Toronto International Film Festival. We've had celebrities on campus. Just last year, we had Daniel Radcliffe, Leonardo DiCaprio, my husband, Anthony Mackie. We've had Rob Pattinson and so many more. I think it's really cool that you could be walking to class and say, oh yeah, I saw Rob Pattinson on my way in. Because of our collaboration with TIFF, we have some great opportunities for our RTA School of Media, film and acting students to get a chance to see and interact with directors, producers, actors, set designers, and more. Ryerson also allows students to debut their own films at TIFF, which is incredible. In 2019 alone, we had 5 Ryerson film students debut their films at TIFF alongside some of the biggest names in the industry. Our RTA School of Media also partners with TIFF to create something called the Digi Play Space, which is an interactive installation. Their creation is known as Marshmallow Clouds, and it's this unique, magical kind of light up cloud space that our new media students got to make in collaboration with TIFF. Of course, TIFF isn't the only thing that happens in our theater. Our Ryerson School of Performance also puts on live performances throughout the year. We did Hamlet this past February. If you can believe, things actually happened in 2020. We have Choreo, which brings back Ryerson grads to collaborate with current dance students. And we have Fall for Dance North, which is an international dance festival that showcases the creative talent within the city while reflecting Toronto's multiculturalism. So last year, our dance students performed at Meridian Hall, previously known as the Sony Center, and this was for 3 sold-out nights, and they got to perform in the same space as the National Ballet of Canada. So super cool experiential learning opportunities there. So we were just in Kerr Hall North. We're gonna pivot 180 and look at Kerr Hall South. So Kerr Hall South is home to the School of Fashion, which aims to transform the fashion industry by centering inclusive, decolonized, and sustainable approaches to fashion through teaching, research, and creative activities, as well as through our community partners. A great example of this is that Ryerson offers the first non-binary design course, which we are so proud to have. Our fashion program ranked top 25 in the world according to Business Fashion. We received Best in Global Influence for our fashion design program, and our fashion communication program received Best Overall Program, Best in Learning Experience, and Best in Long-Term Value. So we're pretty star-studded in the fashion department. One of our most prized grads has their own self-named fashion company called Erdem, and they were on the cover of American Vogue. So now we're going to pivot to the Rogers Communication Center. If there was any building that I wish I could show you in real life, it would be the Rogers Communication Center. Okay, so the Rogers Communication Center is a building that has classroom and studio spaces related to our Faculty of Communication and Design, which we just call FCAD for short. The RTA School of Media has been ranked top 15 by the Hollywood Reporter, so we are very proud of that. And we have prominent partnerships that we are proud of, such as the Universal Music Group with Ryerson's Music Den. We also partner with Google, Bell Media, Audible, Cirque du Soleil, and so many more. FCAD is really an ecosystem for creators that are connected, disruptive, and innovative. When students are in FCAD, they have access to resources and facilities beyond just their program. One of the areas that we love to highlight is the Allen Slate Radio Institute. This is a fully functioning radio station and was donated by the Slate family. Students have access to new studios equipped with state-of-the-art technology, software, as well as mentorship and targeted financial support. There's also an expanded radio and sound curriculum that encourages students to push boundaries and be disruptive in the areas of radio. They learn everything from production to content creation to management and distribution. We have a professor on campus who hosts a podcast called Witness to Yesterday, and this is co-created with the help of our RTA students. This not only allows students to learn on the equipment that they will be using in industry, but it is also great to plug on your resume. Some of the other awesome FCAD spaces that students have access to include the Equipment Distribution Center, which gives FCAD students access to state-of-the-art media equipment. We have a similar service in our library for all Ryerson students to borrow equipment for assignments or just for personal use. These could be cameras or microphones or computers, anything. Also located in the RCC, Rogers Communication Center, is the Catalyst. This is a beautiful space dedicated to scholarly research and creative activities and projects. It hosts events, including workshops, speaker series, and receptions. One of the amazing pieces of research that we like to highlight coming out of the Catalyst is the Live Entertainment Lab, where FCAD students actively participate in collaboration with Cirque du Soleil to reimagine what the next generation of live entertainment is going to look like. So of course, with COVID-19, this is super interesting research to be a part of for the future of live entertainment. Next, we are going to hop on over to the School of Interior Design. I love how this studio space looks. It is so beautiful. So yes, as I said, Ryerson's interior design program has been ranked 8th in the world by Azure magazine, and it functions as a real interior design studio. At the end of the year, students get to host their own exhibitions as well as partake in capstone projects. The Ryerson's interior design program is super well connected within the Toronto community, and we reflect that through the projects that we do. So for example, our interior design students collaborated with our architecture students to create a beautiful art installation in the window of the Bata Shoe Museum. Not pictured here is the Design Fabrication Zone. Ryerson's zones are dedicated business incubators focused on launching startups, and the Design Fabrication Zone focuses on launching startups around the design and fabrication of inventions, businesses, as well as installations. So as I mentioned, many of our interior design students are involved in projects in these zones, meaning that students could possibly be building prototypes for a new business venture before they even graduate from university, which is pretty cool. One other thing that I want to mention about interior design is that students start in our studios from day one, meaning you get to apply the theory that you're learning in class straight away. You don't have to wait until your upper years to start designing. All right, next we are going to move on to the Ryerson Image Center. Next time we'll get intro music. Awesome, okay. I really wish I could give us a picture of this building all lit up at night. It is absolutely stunning if you've ever passed by. But the Ryerson Image Center is dedicated to research, teaching, and exhibition of photography and related media. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Sam. Ryerson's Image Center is home to the Black Star collection of 20th century photo reportage. So this includes many of the original photos used by Time magazine. This is a $4 million collection and was offered by an anonymous donor to either Ryerson University or the Smithsonian Museum. Yes, that Smithsonian Museum. The person making the donation agreed to donate this vast collection of images to Ryerson as long as we agreed to build a facility to house the images. And so the Ryerson Image Center was born. The RIC, as we like to call it, is open to the public and has free admissions so that we can share these historic images with our community. Of course, the Ryerson Image Center also has labs and studio spaces for film and photography students to conduct their own research alongside professors. They also get to exhibit their work in the student gallery. So this presents work from our current undergraduate students. Next up, I want to talk about the sound stage. So Ryerson School of Image Arts has both a photography and film program. And Ryerson has Canada's largest teaching collection of film materials. So what we're looking at here is the soundstage studio that our students get to learn in hands-on. Some grads that I would love to highlight coming out of the Image Arts program would be Andrew Cividino, who you may have heard about if you watched the Emmys this past Sunday. He is an IMA Film Studies grad, and he directed the show Schitt's Creek, which swept the Emmys on Sunday, including they were awarded for Most Outstanding Comedy Series. So we're very, very proud of our grads. Next, we move on to the Heidelberg Building. I'm excited for this one because as a graphic communications management grad, this was my home for the past 4 years. So, as I said, this beautiful little building is home to our graphic communications management program. It is a small building, but it is worth $12 million and is solely funded by the industry. Ryerson is the only university to offer this type of unique program. It focuses on printing, packaging, publishing, which is actually the 4th largest manufacturing industry in Canada. There are spaces to work with printers, design technology, as well as packaging equipment. During my time at GCM, I learned to use the Adobe Suite, which, by the way, all FCAD students will have access to, included in their fees in the next 3 years. So that's a great thing to take advantage of. I also learned HTML and CSS and more awesome software that I was able to put on my resume as having experience with, and that allowed me to get my internship in my 3rd year of study. So right now we are looking at the Mac computer labs. Again, these run a full creative suite. There is the bindery lab where students can physically produce products that they've designed. I know during my orientation for GCM, we got to produce little notebooks and bind them ourselves. It was a lot of fun. And then we also have the press labs where students get to learn on high-end presses and digital printing webs. What I really want to emphasize is that printing and packaging and publishing are all thriving industries. Every product has a label or a logo. You can't digitize packaging. So it's really important that we teach our students the skills that they're going to need to go into this industry. Next up, we will be moving on to the Sheldon and Tracy Levy Student Learning Center, or just the SLC as most people at Ryerson call it. If you've ever stood in the middle of Yonge and Dundas and looked south, north on Yonge Street, you will have been able to see the SLC. It is the beautiful, chunky, blocky looking building jutting out between the skyscrapers. So as you can see on the screen, this is the SLC. It is considered the 21st century library because it is a community space for Ryerson students to study and hang out in between classes, but it is also connected to our Ryerson Library building, where we have $500,000 worth of books and resources for students to do research on their own or for a class. In the library, you can rent out books, and this is a great accessible option for students who may be experiencing financial constraints. Ryerson has every book for all of the courses that we offer, so you can rent out your textbooks as opposed to buying them at full price if you wish. Our library also offers laptop rentals, which is great if you forgot yours or if yours just breaks during an exam. We want to relieve some of that stress. As we look around the SLC, there is beautiful furniture in there that was selected by the Ryerson interior design students. This was a great way to promote collaboration between Ryerson and its students, and it really shows that not only do our students learn from the university, but the university learns from our students. The SLC really had so much thought and care put into its design. It has a frit design pattern over the glass. That was those like chunky white squares that you see in the window. This glass helps mitigate bird strike migration patterns, which is just a fancy way of saying we don't want the beautiful birds of the city crashing into the windows. So we put beautiful patterns over them. Coincidentally, this is also great for energy efficiency. Ryerson's SLC is a LEED Gold building because at least 50% of the roof of the SLC is a green roof. I love to mention that because it really shows Ryerson being a city builder. We realized that in a downtown core where space is at a premium, we needed a location where students could learn, work, and just hang out, and we needed to do it sustainably. So the SLC has 8 different floors. On the 6th floor, and I would say one of the most popular floors, is the beach. The lighting at the beach is in a big circle that symbolizes sunlight. And you can also see beautiful natural sunlight that comes through the windows. There are beach chairs and bean bags made out of recycled boat sails. Again, more of that sustainability piece. And this is a great floor for studying or just hanging out before class. On the 4th floor, there is also academic support that offers free tutoring for math or writing help. They can also provide academic accommodations for students who require these services to work with their learning needs. Other floors that I want to highlight are the sky, which has a beautiful view looking over Yonge and Dundas Square and is great for independent or group work. And then on the 3rd floor, we have the DME, or the Digital Media Experience Lab, which is known as like the technology library that students can access. So you can learn how to use the Adobe Suite. You can go to free coding classes for students. You can learn how to use 3D printers. Anything you need, the DME is there to help you. All right, and now we have one more stop on our tour. We're heading over to the Mattamy Athletic Center. I'm just gonna start singing the transition music. While Sam is finding the Mac, I will let you all know that the Mattamy Athletic Center, or the MAC as we affectionately call it, is on the site of the former Maple Leaf Gardens. So this was home to where the Toronto Maple Leafs used to play, and it is now home to Ryerson Athletics. So this building has a long history of star power. It's where the Beatles first performed when they came to Canada. Madonna has performed in this space. Muhammad Ali has boxed in this space. More recently, we've had LeBron James come and play on our courts, and we also had a talk given by Michelle Obama in the MAC. So definite star power here. Located in the mezzanine, and what we're looking at right now, you'll find the RTA School of Media Lab. Ryerson has the only university level studies in sport media offered in Canada. You will be using industry level equipment, and these are donated by SportNet. So this allows our students to practice their broadcasting skills. In fact, the Mattamy Athletic Center hosts so many events. We've hosted things like the Invictus Games. And in fact, when news crews came to cover the Invictus Games, which we were hosting in the MAC, they didn't need to bring any of their equipment because Ryerson had everything they needed. So I think that brings us to the end of the tour. Thank you all so much for allowing me to lead you on this FCAD tour. And now I will bring back in Ashlyn for our closing remarks.
Hi, everyone.
Ashlyn?
Yep, I'm here now. Sorry, I just had a little bit of issues turning my microphone back on. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Brianna, for such a great session. We've all learned so much. I do want to give everyone just a few reminders before I do. I just want to let you know that we are going to be shutting down our video and audio, meaning that you won't be able to see or hear us, but we will continue to answer all of the Q&A in our box and before we close down the session. A reminder that all these recordings are going to be available later in October on our website, but you won't actually be able to see the Q&A function. So if we have answered one of your questions, please make note of it because you won't be able to see that again. We will be hosting another virtual open house in the next coming weeks, one on November 9th and another week of sessions on the week of November 16th, which we will feature program-specific information sessions for each of our undergraduate programs, and we hope to see you all there. FCAD is also featuring many sessions for program-specific programs in next week and coming up, so please check those out on our website as well. On behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today. We hope to see you in our upcoming sessions. Have a great day, everyone. Hey everyone, I know some of us are still online, so I figured that I could actually answer some of these questions live for you. Um, so I'm going to ask Samantha, who's on the back end, just to label some of these questions live for me and to take over Q&A. But the first one I'm going to answer is from Andrea. She says, is there early acceptance consideration for undergrad interior design applications? And I'm actually going to answer this for all non-academic requirement programs at Ryerson and specific to the Faculty of Communication and Design. Whenever there's a grades plus program, you need to submit non-academic requirements. So for film, that might be submitting a 90-second film. For media production, that's going to be submitting some essays and some recommendation letters. For interior design, that's going to be a portfolio. All of those things that you submit take time from our staff and our faculty to review. So early acceptances is a little rare. It's not really possible just because it takes time to equally look at everyone's and evaluate from there. So most of our students, especially for students who are applying to Grades Plus programs, will receive answers much after February in the winter semester for high school students. And we actually do acceptances on a rolling basis. This means that we are continually looking at your grades, continually looking at those submissions to make those decisions, and we send them out continuously. All right, let's see what else we have. Alessandra is asking, after we apply to our program of choice, when do we hear back from the university? Once again, our admissions is through rolling admissions. So February 1st is that equal consideration deadline. You are going to, as long as you apply before that, you are going to be equally considered with everyone else who has applied. After that, it's on rolling admissions. You can hear back from any time between February and the beginning of June. All right, after we apply, that's the one I just read. When do 2021 winter applications typically get their acceptances? So I just answered that. You will apply before February 1st for 105 applications, which means students outside of Ontario or mature students. Those applications are open through the OUAC, the Ontario University Application Centre. If you are coming from an Ontario high school, your guidance counselor will be giving you a PIN number in order to apply through a 101 application through the OUAC, the Ontario University Application Centre. I see a question from Christy asking about the FCAD virtual info sessions. Yes, they will be happening starting next week. Please go to the Faculty of Communication and Design webpage. It's actually ryerson.ca/fcad/stay-connected. To learn more about those sessions. Those sessions will be recorded, but they won't necessarily be sent to you right away. So if you aren't able to attend and would like a recording, just let us know when you register and we'll be sure to get those to you.